America's reputation took another hit after the events that unfolded yesterday. Our Kelly Kennedy tells us what local political experts say the U.S. Capitol breach means for the country and for Alabama.
Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol yesterday after federal and state leaders rallied against the results of the 2020 election. Former Alabama Senator Dr. Parker Griffith said he was disgusted watching it all happen.
I've been in that Capitol. That is sacred ground for Americans. And to see that disrespect, to see things being stolen, windows being broken, somebody hanging from the balcony, those aren't Americans.
Representative Mo Brooks is among a handful of congressional Republicans claiming Antifa orchestrated the Capitol attack. Officials say there is no evidence of that. It's also important to note that yesterday, before the breach happened, Brooks spoke at a rally to Trump supporters near the Capitol, where he said, quote, American patriots would start taking down names and kicking ass.
Alabama is the only state with two women in the Hall of Statues. We have Rosa Parks and Helen Keller. We're well represented there by fine, great people. And to have a Mo Brooks act the fool that he did is an embarrassment to the whole state.
Newly elected Senator Tommy Tuberville was among those who objected electoral votes in some states.
I fear that their actions on this yesterday hurt us politically, especially in North Alabama. And they are both going to be in a minority status, and even within a minority status of their own party, they're going to be backbenchers.
Both Brooks and Tuberville later condemned the violence. Brooks stating, I hope law enforcement and our judicial system prosecute these thugs to the fullest extent of the law. And this morning, Tuberville tweeting, it has no place in our democracy. Putting the Valley first, Kelly Kennedy, WZDX News.